So what makes 7 Steps to Flawless Communication different from other corporate communication classes?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Thank you. So, one of the biggest differences with this class is it teaches people how to show up and be present and bring their own brilliance and their uniqueness through. Some of the communication classes that I've personally experienced when I was working in corporate was almost like to keep practicing something over and over again until you get it perfect.
Yeah.
And that's almost like um, being something that you're not. And where's the difference with this communication class is it actually brings you out and that you can then engage with who you are and bring through your brilliance, your uniqueness. It also shows people how to be present. Often it's a big buzzword now, oh, you've got to be present with whatever it is you're doing. But nobody's really showing you how to be present. And that's one of the steps in 7 Steps is to show you how to be present. How to not have to pretend to be something you're not. How to get past the invisible walls that you have between you and the person you're communicating with. How to create a flow with your conversation. In corporates, the amazing thing is that all of a sudden, when everybody's being themselves and they're willing to show up as themselves and they're not worried about being judged, all of a sudden there's a cohesiveness that occurs between employees. Their creativity shows up. Everybody can make a contribution. It doesn't matter whether you're in the reception area or whether you're the head of the company. Everybody has a sense of the company and what the company is about and where the company wants to go. So this is a really fantastic way to engage everyone in that, because the person that's answering the phone or interacting with your clients, the first interaction is with your receptionist, for example. They know what the expectations are of those clients when they show up. So though that receptionist has a good insight into your customers, what can that person share with you from a company perspective and say, oh, here's an idea, or this is what's happening, what can we change, etc. So this is the difference with 7 Steps is everyone can be engaged, everyone gets to be creative, everybody gets to make a contribution, everybody gets to be authentic, everybody gets to be present, and it creates a whole synergy and a flow between everyone. And because in a corporate environment, everything is changing so fast. You know, you've got a political situation in the country, or you've got an economic situation. You may be trading with overseas companies, and the currency changes, or a staff member leaves, or there's a new regulation that takes place, or something. It's so dynamic. You know, the corporate and business world is so dynamic. How do you stay relevant? How do you stay flexible? How can you just shift and move and change as your environment changes, and then you can keep that flow going, and you can keep your momentum going and keep expanding. And you can do that by working with your employees and engaging your employees, because they all have something, they all have an idea, they all have something to bring to the table. Even if it means radically changing your product. I mean, that's happened often with companies. They've had to change a product to stay relevant, and they've continued to be a success. And the ones that haven't been ready to change have failed and now no longer exist. So this is how the 7 Steps to Flawless Communication can contribute to a company environment and a work environment. Takes the edge off, takes away the conflict, because you can use this to resolve conflict. You can use these steps to deal with an unhappy customer. You can use these steps when you're in interview process. You can use these steps when you're leading a meeting. You can use these steps when you're presenting something. There's so many different ways and so many different applications for 7 Steps. So this is more about you gain these tools. You can use them in the company. You can use them with your family. You can use them with relationships. So it expands beyond the company, and it's interactive and integrative immediately. That it's not a file that just goes into the drawer and you never look at the material again. In the class, you actually will start incorporating these steps interactively with everyone. And because of the ease that it creates, and because of like, oh, wow, this is like so cool, people will continue to use it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.